In this video here, I'm going to share with you 3 things that helped me become a winning trader. And these 3 things are something that you can potentially apply in your own trading and then backtest them to see how they may or may not play out. Now, you want to stick around to the end of the video because at the end, I'm going to walk you through real world examples and how I deploy this in my own trading. But first, a quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say here is financial advice. Trading is risky. Most people do lose money. This is simply for educational and entertainment purposes only, and I don't make any guarantees of anything whatsoever that anyone can achieve a specific result. So with that said, let me get into it. Okay, number 1, I like to take my trades around potential reversal areas, all right, where these may or may not be. Now, how I determine that, I'm going to get into towards the end of this video, but I like to look at a very specific window between 8:30 and 9:30 a.m. to find these potential reversal areas. The reason it's 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. is because that's when a lot of news is released to create these possible highs and lows, or the high and low between that window. That's when news is released for the New York session here. Sometimes a little later, around 9:45 or 10 a.m., but most of the time it's between 8:30 and 9:30 a.m. So more on this later towards the end of the video. Number 2, the entry. It is so important to have a confirmed entry rather than just saying, oh, I'm going to take a trade here, or this looks like a good spot. For me, I have a confirmed entry, a very, very specific way that I enter the market for this particular strategy. And some of you may or may not know what that is, but I'm going to say it here and you'll have a better understanding when you visually see it at the end here of this video. All right, that is called a inverse fair value gap. All right, if you don't know what they are, you will after this video. These have helped me define my entry points so that I can put myself in the best possible position, or at least give myself the highest probability of the trade potentially working out for me. All right, number 3 here, the exit. All right, how do I know where I'm exiting? So generally speaking, all right, if I am looking for a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, I tend to have a higher win rate. All right, if I wanted to achieve some crazy win rate, then I would go for a lower risk to reward. Now, obviously, if I'm going for a risk to reward of say 1-to-2, 1-to-3, or 1-to-5, then my win rate is generally lower. So how do I know where I'm exiting? Because this is extremely important. All right, I'm going to share with you a few ideas at the end here how I determine my exit. For me, for this particular strategy here that I do trade, it is a static exit for me. But I can also use a variety of other things to determine where I may or may not get out of the market. So with that said, let's hop over to the charts now. As promised, I'm going to share with you how I deploy these in real world situations on the charts. We'll take a look at them, how I determine that high or low or possible high or low, how I enter, and then how I exit. So let's head over there now. All right, so here we are over on the charts now. Before I go any further, there is another video on my channel that walks through an additional piece on this here that you can check out over there or in my channel somewhere. So do check that out after this video. Now on the charts here, I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret with how I determine where the high or low may or may not be for the day here. And again, I don't know if this is the actual high or low. Nobody ever knows that, but this is how I look at the market here. So very simply put, all right, on this chart here, news tends to happen around 8:30 to 9:30. So that's our window. All right, that's our window right there. Why? Because big news events for the New York Open are generally released between 8:30 and 9:30 in the morning, sometimes around 9:45 or 10 a.m. But we're going to focus on this window right now. So I'm going to draw 2 lines on my chart right here. All right, I'm going to draw one at 8:30. Okay, and we're going to put it right there. And then I'm going to draw another one, and I'll zoom in here just a minute so you can see it. And I'm going to put this one at 9:30. Now, this is an actual trade that I took today on one of my funded accounts here. So here's our window. All right, I'm focusing right here. Now, all I'm going to do right now is mark off the high and low because that's where I want to trade. This is, again, part of that first piece, I should say, I like to trade around the possible highs or lows of the day. All right. So the high is up here, all right, right off of this 930 candle. It's easily seen right there, okay, and I'll zoom in, and then the low is right here, all right, 830 low is right here, all right. So I'm going to back this up just for a minute so it's easier to see, all right, so you can see this when I'm looking at the open, all right, and we'll move over one candle. So right now, after the 930 candle, this was the high. All right, I'll zoom in right here so you can see it. It's a little difficult to see, but it's a red line right there. The high was breached, so right away, right now, my mind is shifting to a short bias. All right, now this is where part 2 comes in, where I'm looking for that inverse fair value gap. Now, I'm not going to explain what a fair value gap is in this video. There are plenty of other videos out there on that, but it is basically an imbalance in price. I am going to mark it up here, and how I mark it up, you should be able to or could be able to determine these on your own here. So now that I have my bias, because we've taken out today's highs, or at least the high between that window of 830 and 930, all right, I am going to look for the first inverse fair value gap, and I don't see any right now, but I'm going to show you what it looks like here in just a minute. All right, so if we move this over, it is actually right there. I'm going to move this so you can see it. Do you see here how price closed? All right, I'm going to draw a little pointer so it's easy to see. We'll just draw a little box here so it's just really easy to see. See this low right there? I pointed it out. Let's get that back on the chart right here. All right, and we'll just say this is the low of that candle wick right there. Okay, and there's one also right here. I'll circle it just so you can see it. All right, the distance between those two is my inverse fair value gap, which is right here. Just draw a box now that we have it, and I'll move these out of the way. All right, so I know now, all right, part 2, my entry needs to be confirmed. So I'm looking at that inverse fair value gap. If I get a close below it, that's my confirmation. Again, I don't even know if this will work for you, okay? I'm only sharing what I like to do. All right, I don't make any guarantees or promises here. Of course, you guys have to do you in trading, but these are just some little things that I like to do that has helped me. All right, so as price moves over here, we get a close below this right here, and I am in at this particular point. All right, now my stop. All right, this again subjective. All right, and again we're getting into part 3 now, the exit that I explained earlier. All right, this is all subjective here. My stop can be the high of the wick here. It can be a static stop. It really doesn't matter. All right, it's whatever I am looking at for that day, or it can be different for every single trader here. So I'm just going to leave it right here at the high. And my target, what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to target these lows as one possible area here, or I'm looking to target the next inverse fair value gap, which could be all the way down here. All right, as this trade comes out, it literally went right to my TP today. Today, I targeted just above these lows right here, and this was a winning trade for me. So these 3 things right here have helped me increase my win rate, or at least have helped me really put together a mechanical way to trade here. Again, number 1, looking for those highs or lows and using a system how to determine those highs and lows. Number 2, the entry confirmation. And lastly, number 3, using a mechanical way or a way based on price action to exit the position here. So I hope this helps you. I have plenty of other videos on my channel. Again, you can go check them out based around other methodologies that I trade here. Again, thanks for watching. Do remember to like, comment, and subscribe here. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon.